Rest in peace to the great James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, Mufasa, so many different roles, Field of Dreams, the list goes on and on and on. A true legend. Gone at 93 years old. We're going to talk about his body of work, some of the movies that kind of defined our childhoods, and way more. We will get into some other topics on the show here today. It is the first live show with myself, Roxy Stryer, and Mike Kalinowski. The gang is back together. So here we go. Let's do it. It's Kristian Harloff Show. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us back here on the Kristian Harloff Show. And man, I announced that we were going live every day, Monday through Friday, and that there were possibilities because of schedule that we're going to get some different lineups. And boy, one of those lineups that I know everybody's excited about, myself included, is the reuniting of DC movie news, Roxanne Stryer. Hello, Roxy. And
hello,
Mike Kalinowski. Look at this. Look at you. Look at you two wonderful kids.
Look at your graphics. Look how professional you are.
I know. Look at you, wonderful kids. Isn't that good? Look at that. Look at you guys.
I came on and I was so excited that Mike was here, and I said, "Hi, Mike!" And then he didn't have his headphones on, and Kristian said, "He can't hear you."
He can't hear you. I deal with this guy. I deal with him every Wednesday. Now you get to deal with him because he's going to be here a lot on Tuesdays because of his schedule. So we're going to have a lot of Roxy and Mike. And Roxy, I know how competitive you are. So we did this thing yesterday that, because people will send in their super chats. We get to questions at the end of the main topics after we cover them. And yesterday, Roka was on the show, and he's been on every Monday. Roka got 45 questions yesterday. So the question is, question is, can you beat 45 questions?
Wait, that's so crazy because he's on every Monday.
He's on every Monday. So he got 45 questions. So the question is, can Roxy break the record? 45 is going to be tough to do.
You would think that they had run out of things to ask him.
People like to hear him talk.
Yeah, me too. I do.
We have a lot to talk about. We really do have. There's so much to discuss, and I was going back and forth really of what to cover yesterday, and then the news dropped of the great James Earl Jones, who passed away as we were kind of ending the show yesterday. It was sent to me. PLD producer actually sent me the news, and normally I put us on the thumbnails and I do things, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna just put him on the thumbnail, and I feel like we'll just have a really nice conversation about him and discuss because I know that for the three of us, he just meant a lot with so many different roles. So I'm going to read this story here by Dark Horizons. We'll talk about the great James Earl Jones, and then we'll kind of go over some of his body of work and other things. So James Earl Jones has passed away at 93 years old. Legendary deep-voiced actor James Earl Jones, who has appeared in countless films, has died. He was 93. He was 93 years old. Jones reportedly passed away at his home in Dutchess County, New York on Monday. Jones was one of the most recognizable actors around the world and earned 3 Tony Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, and a Grammy Award, along with a Lifetime Achievement Oscar, SAG Award, and Kennedy Center honor. He is one of the few entertainers to have won the EGOT, which is the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. He began his prolific acting career in 1964 with Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove. He went on to around 200 TV and film roles on screen across movies like Coming to America, Conan the Barbarian, The Hunt for Red October, Field of Dreams, Patriot Games, Sneakers, The Sandlot, and more. His voice became the voice of the most famous Star Wars villain of all, Darth Vader, alongside with that of Mufasa in Disney's animation's The Lion King. On TV, he was in The Great White Hope and made numerous The Simpsons appearances. On stage, he appeared in nearly 24 Broadway shows. The source was Deadline, of course, by Dark Horizons. So, yeah, guys, this is super, super sad. And then I was telling my wife what a full life he had. How old was he? I was like 93. 93 it's a long life, but it doesn't take away from the sadness of it, obviously. But I don't know, Rox, I start with you. You hear this news, and first thoughts that go through your mind when you hear about the passing of the great James Earl Jones.
So I found out the same way that I'm sure a lot of people did, through social media. And it was weird, kind of like when Betty White passed. The first thing I did was I just saw a picture of him. And I was like, oh, hi, James Earl Jones. And then I keep going and I see another picture of him and I was like, oh, that's so funny. And then finally I was like, why have I seen 3 pictures of him in the last hour? And you look into it, it's like, oh man, like
Yeah,
I just thought that person was never gonna die.
I know.
Like I just thought they were gonna be here forever. I think it's so cool about Lion King too, because Lion King's my favorite Disney movie of all time. But you guys know Darth Vader's my favorite Star Wars character,
Right.
which I'm sure is so many people like me. It's not like I'm unique in my absolute obsession and love for him, but just sad. And like you said, Kristian, 93 is a full life, but as somebody who takes care of a 97 and a 99-year-old, it's like you speak to these people, and this is who we want on the planet still.
Yeah.
People in their 90s have such beautiful experience and perspective and are just the kindest, best souls that there are. So it's almost sadder to me when we lose them because I think we need way more of that and way less of some other things.
I agree. Well said. Mike, you hear the news, obviously. You've been following James Earl Jones' career forever as an actor yourself. I'm sure studied his work. What was going through your mind when you heard the news?
It's interesting because I feel we're getting to the age where those people that we grew up with are now passing.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to hit where like 10 years ago, the people that were passing were, film and TV actors from the 60s and 70s. But now it's like, yeah, because there's a couple that hopefully are got 20 more years in them, but that are around the age where, so, but like, for me, James Earl Jones, of course, Darth Vader, but was always James Greer in the Clancy movies. Like that's his role to me that aside from Vader, him as an actor really kind of hit with me. So
yeah, well, that's what I was gonna ask next. Is like what stands out. Obviously, I think everyone first off goes voice of Darth Vader, right? And then he's so much more than that. Obviously, throughout his wonderful career. For me, it is actually between Field of Dreams, The Sandlot. Those movies like it just stood out to me. He's so good. He's so good in Field of Dreams. I mean, he's just so good in that role. It kind of like is like the essence of what he was, the way you kind of perceive him in general. Like you feel like maybe he would be intimidating if you first saw him because of that just booming voice, and that he could maybe you think he's standoffish, but then you really get to know who he is, and he's got this big, warm, open heart, and just is full of life and wants it. And like everything, when you saw him in interviews, was the same thing. And I think that was just it really came out in Field of Dreams. But Rox, these roles, and it's so hard to kind of choose all the great roles that he's had. But is there anything that you go, oh yeah, that's the one I always associate him with?
Yeah, of course, for me, it's Vader. As you mentioned, though, that he had an EGOT, I was like, what did he win an Emmy for that I didn't see? And this is one of the cool things about when somebody's name is in the news, for better or for worse, is that I do think people go back and watch some of their less recognized work. And he has been nominated for multiple different Emmys, but all of his TV work I haven't seen. So that's stuff that I'll go dive into, which is really cool. His movies I've seen, but his television, like, do you guys know Everwood? He played Will Cleveland, was nominated for guest actor. Had no idea.
No, I didn't.
That's really cool. He won for playing Gabriel Byrd in Gabriel's Fire.
Okay.
In 1991. That's the year I was born. I didn't even know Gabriel's Fire was a show. So that's what he won his Emmy for, which is, I kind of can't wait to go back and watch that.
Yeah. And then it's just, when he shows up, there's a certain type of actor, and he certainly was one of these actors, is that it just elevated anything he was on when he showed up. It's like the second he showed up, you went, oh, this is a high quality thing because he showed up. And that's what he did. And I remember, I guess, as I say that, there are other movies that as a kid, he was terrifying in Conan the Barbarian, and that hairdo was incredible. He was terrifying in that movie. And he's played, Mufasa wasn't the first king he played. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that of course is the great performance that he put together in Coming to America. He was
in Zamunda.
Yeah. The king of Zamunda. Yeah. Joffrey, right? I think King Joffrey. And so he was just so good in general in that, and he's just so many different roles that he had. I mean, you look at the body work as it goes. The Lion King. Do you guys know? Oh, yes, he did. Did he do? I guess he didn't do. Well, he wouldn't have done the Mufasa voice because Mufasa's a young kid in Lion King. But
No, I think he did. I think that he did it. You're talking about in 2019?
no, I know he did that. I just didn't know if he in the new movie if he did anything for that. But I think he was already kind of ailing in health at that point because remember he didn't do, even though he's credited in Obi-Wan, that's not that they basically AI'd his voice. He gave them permission to do it.
You're saying you know that he did do it in 2019, but you
Yes.
just don't know to what extent was actually him?
No, I don't know in the new movie, the Mufasa movie that's coming out.
Oh,
In
I get it.
that movie that's coming out in December. I don't know if
I get
he
what you're
did any,
saying.
but then I said I think he's doing a younger version at that point, so I don't think that it's. Yeah.
Do you know my favorite line in any movie of all time ever? If you just said, what is your favorite line ever? This is the thing that I want plastered on the wall in front of me at all times is remember who you are.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is like to me just the most powerful quote of all time. And I think
Remember,
that, remember who you are.
you are my
Like
son.
I hear it in my head
Yeah.
in my darkest moments, and I hear it in my head when I feel like, and this is for all of us, Kristian. I know you're back east now, but like when you move out here and you're struggling, and LA is so different from where we came, and it's easy to get lost in things. It's just it plays in my head. I'm gonna say weekly, and I've been saying for years now. It's my favorite quote ever, and so his voice plays in my head.
Yeah.
He's like part of me. It's strange.
100%. No, it's not strange. I think it just shows you the impact that he had overall with what he was able to do. And I mean, he's done so many. That voice. I mean, even when the news network started, this is CNN. He was the one who started that. He did that. He did.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, he did that. He did obviously all the stuff that he did with Vader and the fact and the way that he got Vader. In '77, he wasn't the James Earl Jones. He was a young kind of actor that and George Lucas liked his voice, took his voice, and who knew, right? And there was just so much that he did, and it's one of those big ones. You hear it and you go, oh, no. And I think Roxy said it best. You just think they're going to live forever. And is 93 years old. 93. I mean, I think that's way long. This is one of those things they're going to play back when I finally kick the bucket. They're going to play this clip. But I there's no way I'm seeing 93. And the fact
Why
that
do you say that?
I just don't think I'll see 93. But he saw 93.
You've been doing AG1, Kristian. You're gonna see 93. You're fine.
Who knows? But I don't know. It's a longer story. This is a guy who just lived life to the fullest. He really just did, and it's so nice that people are. It is also refreshing in the world that we're living in right now, and the amount of kind of vitriol that is in the world in general. You didn't see a lot of hate when I'll just to put into juxtaposition here. There was somebody else that wound up going to the hospital yesterday, and everybody, rightfully so, was saying, "Eat it, buddy, get out of here," as opposed to this guy who was just like, "Oh man, it's like a real kind of hero loss." So James Earl Jones, I struggle to say yet still say, gone too soon, because of you just don't want him to go. You just don't want him to go. So,
You guys know anything about his family life?
not really. I
was looking into this a little bit.
Private man.
Yeah, totally. It's
I love that.
interesting that I'd never heard one. I was like, was this man married, children? And yes. I guess he had a second wife, and she passed in 2016. But they had
Okay.
a son together who was born in 1983. Flynn Earl. Please gift us with your voice one day, Flynn.
For real. Well,
yeah.
isn't that funny? Because someone said that he voiced his last role was Obi-Wan, and I mean, technically, right? But this is what the technology moving forward is going to do, right? Is that he gave permission for them to use his voice because you listen to him in Rogue One. That's him. That's him 100% at that age. That's him. Obi-Wan was his voice, but it was used
Modulated?
yes, but used at a younger time. You know how they can use to do the deep fake voices and all that stuff. But he gave permission for it, and he signed over his. There was a big story that he kind of signed over his likeness from years to come. So you can still hear James Earl Jones forever. Now he signed on for his voice. You will hear his voice again. He signed his rights for his voice, so you will hear it again. So that is one of those things where I wonder, because like Mike, I know that you kind of, it's like an iffy situation for you, a topic rather, for that. But because of that, because he signed it over, said that that's something he would be okay with, and the idea that you can use his voice at any time, if they want to use, let's say, Vader, or they wanted to use his voice for any of the future Lion King movies if they do them, is that something you would be okay with?
I was listening to you when you were talking about that, and I know he's so iconic, and the character of Vader continues on, and I personally don't like it. I don't like that once an actor is passed that they're gonna, and again, it's up to the person, it's up to their family and their legacy. Maybe they have a family they want to provide for, and this will be financially secure for the rest of their lives if they want to keep using that. But it's like kind of like it says something to the finiteness of death, that this person's gone, and that's what we have in the past to always remember him and cherish. But now it's like he's always going to be there, and it's always going to be, I don't know, it's like kind of like an actor. Like when they pass, it's like it's done, and their treasure of work that is before in the past, that's what we have to remember them.
Yeah, I think that's a fair.
It's not for me. The AI and all this.
Yeah, I get it.
Stuff that's not for me.
I get it, and I think that's also our generation's going to feel that way, and I think it's going to, it'll change then. But I think that the other important thing is if his family's able to, his grandkids, great grandkids are able to profit over it, then and that's what he wanted, and he was like, you just keep using my stuff, but just keep paying them, then I'm good. Hey. I would do that if it was me, and I was like, listen,
I get it.
I'm like, okay, use my likeness, use my voice, but make sure my kids are getting paid for it.
Let me ask you guys this then. So, because it seems a double-edged sword, because I personally liked it, but people were calling it grave robbing when they had Chris Reeve show up in The Flash, and he didn't talk. It was just his image. And from what I remember reading, the family signed off on it.
Yeah.
But people like, how dare they? This is sacrilege, the grave robbing. And I'm just like, it was kind of a very cool homage to him.
Yeah, so people are always going to complain about something.
Like, you're not going to please everybody with this stuff. I know.
Roxy, where do you and I have kind of landed on similar opinions on this stuff too. Where do you land on this?
I think I'm on the extreme other end of Mike.
Yeah.
But I do understand where he's coming from. It's also hysterical to me that what Mike just described is literally the circle of life. He's like, well, you live and then you die, and that's the point, and then you're gone.
That's true.
But I was famously remembered on Collider Live for saying, take my image, use me in every single thing possible if I get hit by a car tomorrow, because I just so badly want to be remembered. And I think it's different for him because he will be remembered no matter what. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's something so unbelievable. Technology is supposed to be used to help people. And I think that it does. Anything that can make passing or death or whatever it is a little easier on people. And as fans of his, we do get to still hear him and see him. And I think that's really cool. I think it all completely hinges on the family's permission, obviously. I don't remember the grave robbing conversations. I think that's whack. I don't understand if his family said yes and if they're getting paid for it. I don't really understand how.
If they weren't on board with it, and people were doing it without their likeness and those, then I would say there's a better argument for that.
Yeah, but I think it's how cool that you could have such a lasting legacy that you could pay for generations of life.
Right.
Like that would be the best thing that I could ever do.
Yeah.
Is pay for my great grandkids.
Especially when you have a voice like that and you're able to do it, there's people that are also going to be able to do impressions of his voice and things too. But if you can actually get his voice and get his family paid for it, I think it works. But nonetheless, the great James Earl Jones has left us, and man, what a legacy! And so I ask you guys in the comment section, live, all that stuff. Make sure that you put your comments in and tell us, what are your favorite moments of James Earl Jones? What's your favorite, performance? What memories stand out? What, like Roxy, will live on in your head? Things that he said, performances, all of that. We want to hear it, share it, do everything you can. Okay, as we are now going to transition over, which is never an easy thing to do when it's a situation like this, we're going to go into our movie news stuff. We're going to say people are going to be asking questions, and we'll be able to get to all your questions at the end of the topics, as we always do.
How many so far, Kristian? How many so far?
9. You got
9 of 45.
Yeah, you got a while to go, Rox. You got a while. I don't think Roke is going to be the champ.
Where are they?
You'll see him.
But let me ask you this.
I'm saying, where are the people?
Hold on. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Harloff, what were the questions? Were they good?
Yeah, they were good. They were really good.
It was like, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
That's the Monday. You got to remember, Roka also has an advantage. We've been doing live with Roka for the last 6 months.
Yeah, but you also didn't tweet
and
this
Roka's
out.
got no shortage of opinions.
Nobody knows Mike and I are together right now. Like, how am I supposed to social it?
You got to do this. We got to hype up Roxy and I together. And then the following show, that's when you get the nut.
Well, clips. We're going to do some. We've been doing more clip outs too. So we'll be doing that. Okay, listen. Here is something else that is a big story that dropped, and had it been for any other day, would have led with this story for sure, because the Spider-Verse movies are some of the best animated movies, best movies I've seen in a long time. Oscar nominated, Oscar winning. People love these movies, highly anticipated. So this news, not the best. The third Spider-Verse movie, will it be pushed to 2027? The planned third film in the Spider-Verse franchise has reportedly been significantly delayed. The Insider, Jeff Snyder, has posted a bombshell report claiming that Sony Pictures has reportedly scrapped most of the work done on the film so far to creative reasons. The report indicates the film is now unlikely to be released before 2027, and the production team is apparently relieved by the scrapping, as it will now give them more time to work on the film. The delay also gets the film out of the way of a fourth live-action Spider-Man, which seems to be targeting a 2026 release after word today of destined Daniel Cretton's hiring as director and an early 2025 start of filming. It also means the third Spider-Verse will arrive a full year after the last year's sequel, which ended on a cliffhanger. Last month, actor Karan Soni, who plays Pavatir, Practical Spider-Man in India, said voice recording was slated to begin on Beyond and in a few months, and the film was deep in production. Also, last month came word that Sony Pictures Television was not renewing their overall deal with Spider-Verse filmmakers Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and there had been alleged clashes over budgets regarding the upcoming Spider-Noir series. The franchise, which was soaring on the success of Across the Spider-Verse early last summer, found itself under scrutiny since a report at Vulture hit last June. That report went into Lord and Miller's controversial managerial style, with sources claiming unsustainable working conditions and a relentless kind of revisionism. It does get results, though. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse made $691 million from a $150 million budget and had stunning reviews at a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, an update from September 10th, the franchise's composer, Daniel Pemberton, has dismissed the report, saying on X, "Would you ever believe there could sometimes be stuff on the internet that might not be particularly accurate?" So, what the hell do you make of all of that? Now, after that whole big report, the composer goes, "I don't believe everything you hear." So, Roxy, I'll start with you. You hear this report, you hear this sniffing around, and Jeff's usually pretty accurate on what he's heard so far. Do you think that this gets pushed to 2027, that far back from the last movie?
Yeah, subscribe to his newsletter because I love reading. He drops so much great stuff there, the Snyder. But then we did hear, so like you said, the composer, he said, would you ever believe there could be sometimes stuff on the internet that might not always be particularly accurate? But that's not really a denial of what he said. They said that might not always be particularly accurate. I think that, number one, I actually don't care when this movie comes out. If it comes out in 2027, great. I just want to see the best version of the movie, and I want the people to be treated as well as they possibly can. And if people are getting paid for their time and the movie is excellent, if it's 2027, that's totally fine by me. But it is interesting the way that we are talking about this franchise as opposed to after the first movie came out when we were like, this movie is stellar. It is so unbelievable. This looks just perfect. No animated movie has ever looked better. And now it's like, ooh, what's going on set here? How are we treating the people? There's been a lot of issues seemingly going on. What are they using this time for? Do we trust this? But we love the movies, so the conversation is just totally turned.
Yeah, and Chris Miller actually just responded and said nothing's been scrapped. Said nothing's been scrapped. Reels are coming along just nicely. So, I mean, Mike, I feel that if that's the case, if it was going to get delayed and they were scrapping stuff, Miller coming out and saying no, that's not true could have major egg on his face if it turns out, because especially with differences, haven't been shy of staying silent, I should say, when it came to look at the Solo stuff. They pretty much went along with everything that people were saying. I bet you once they finally are able to speak about what went down there, that's going to be a complete and utter S show, if you will. But the Miller responds. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm torn on this because I know the first one was by itself, but didn't they? And correct me if I'm wrong. After that first one, and they were like going forward, like we had a planned trilogy. I thought 2 and 3 were going to shoot back to back, and like they knew what they were doing. Like it was.
I think they still know what they're doing.
The second one came out. What's up?
I said I think I still know. They still know what they're doing. It's just as they mentioned in that report.
Do they?
Yes, because I think what happened was that the fit hit the shan, if you will, when they you never heard that before?
Is that because we're live? Is that why you keep doing that?
Yeah, but have you never heard fit hit the shan? You've never heard that before?
No, I've never heard that.
And I owe you an apology, but we'll do that afterwards.
I know that was a great moment in my life.
Yes, but we'll do that afterwards. But Mike, the main thing that they mentioned in this report was all the stuff that went down with the graphics people and the editors
working
and
conditions. On
the working conditions. I think that they were going back to back, and I think then they were like, hold back here. People's heads are going to fall off. They're exhausted. Cut it out.
Right. Okay. But still, okay. So let's look at that. So all that comes out, and I think it came out because they were rushing towards the end of the film, like to finish the second one. And then the second one comes out, massive hit, and they're like, we're going to take some time. We're going to slow down a little bit and redo things. But that doesn't change the fact that the story still, even if these guys are busting their ass and trying to get the most incredible work, and because the animation is just insane, the story is still the story. Like the animators that are animating it, that's not changing the story. They're animating what's being given. So I thought this story is there. Like I thought they know what they're doing. They had the actors set to record dialogue. So clearly they had the script ready to go. So as you say, something stonks.
Well, but I don't know if it does though, because it depends on, and it depends.
If you're just going, hey, our animators are dying, we got to slow down. One theory, I think that the studio goes, we'll hire another studio and add another studio on. Because on animated films, lots of different studios work on, some will handle the action. And I could see them going, we'll just hire more people and keep working them. But and maybe Lord Miller, like, no, slow down. It seems like they're going, changing story and changing.
Well, yeah, it depends.
Scrap sequences.
It depends on this report, right? The report that it says, if the report is that this has not gone as planned, and that there are going to be a lot of changes, and they are not going to be out until 2027, then Mike, you got something to that, to where they don't know what the hell the story is, or what happened. They bounce back and forth. But if you go off of what Miller just wrote and the fact that no, everything's going according to plan, it just animation takes a little longer, especially when you're trying to ease up on your crew. When you get that kind of, you don't want an Ellen situation. You know what I mean?
I mean, it just seems that I know, like in animation, the little bit that I do know, like a lot of your assets are already built. So it's kind of like a video game where your assets are there. And I know, it seems like every movie they do these giant quantum leaps forward with what we're seeing, and they're explaining new things, and maybe they're wanting to try new things. I think, like Roxy said, give the time. But also, I'm of the minority that I think the first one is better. I think ending on a cliffhanger like they did was a real mistake in the fact that it wasn't coming out within a year.
Yeah.
If you're going to end on a cliffhanger like that, you got to pull it back to the future.
I don't disagree with you.
And do it 6 months later and just get it all out there. Because I think this film these films has the potential to be the best trilogy of all time if they stick the landing.
I think they will. I think
even out of live action. I'm saying better than live action. I think trilogy, when we talk about the best trilogies of all time, this has the potential to be the best trilogy of all time if they stick it.
What did you think of the first Dune ending?
Oh, he didn't like either one of those movies.
I'm going to tell you about. Roxy, you want to know about Dune?
No, don't ask him.
And I said this. No, I say this with the utmost respect.
Yeah,
I think they are masterful films, incredibly acted. Every attention to detail, sound, design, costume, lighting, score, everything is 100 incredible. I felt no attachment to any single character, and I was just like, "This is fine."
So you don't like cliffhangers, really?
No, I love a cliffhanger if it's going to get resolved within a decent amount of time, and I'm invested.
So what about like House of the Dragon or
Severance? No, he doesn't watch good things.
No.
Okay, yeah, I think I've just been so trained to cliffhangers be what they are, and sometimes I have to wait multiple years on shows.
4 years?
Well,
that's a lot. I mean, you changed.
Aquaman came out 4 years.
But that wasn't a cliffhanger. That was not like, hey, Miles is stuck. Come back in 5 years and see where he is. It's like,
it's tough on cliffhangers.
You have to think about also this. Think of it in let's say 4 or 5 years in a span. You just mentally as a person change. You some things you're into anymore, some things you're not into anymore. You go through you change as a person. Especially, younger people, and they're like at the age they're so invested in, and they're like, when they come back, it's like, I don't watch Spider-Man anymore. It's, and again, they've won the goodwill of people because these two films are so good, and I'm sure when the hype comes out, when the film starts ramping up and marketing, that people are going to be back into it. But it's like, imagine Infinity War, and then you had to wait 5 years for Endgame.
Yeah, no,
I hear you.
For example, Infinity War and Endgame, that thing was
timed out perfectly. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right that when it comes to cliffhangers, because people forget fast, especially because there's just so much stuff out there now too, right?
It is.
There's just so much that people do forget. And I think there's another movie recently, I can't remember what it was, but it's like, it's not coming out. I mean, look, even movies without a cliffhanger. Look at, we'll bring up Star Wars again. Star Wars is 2019 since that last movie that you're paying $4.2 billion for a franchise. And it's like, where's that?
Maybe were you thinking Batman 2?
Batman 2 is one that also getting pushed. Yeah, but there are other. Yeah,
and the fact that you've got a new DC universe with a new Batman soon, and they're pushing it. You got this little kind of penguin that's going to kind of satiate you for a little bit. But
I think that's more important than you think, because I think that's going to be a big, really big show from what everyone's saying.
No, I understand. I'm.
Well, okay. Say there are only two options, though, and I'm not saying there are, but one, you lose momentum and you put out a great movie, or two, you rush a movie, but you have that momentum. I would rather lose momentum, put out a great movie, than rush the movie and then have it not be as good.
I guess. I mean, I was always, what weirded me out with these movies, the SpiderVerse, was the fact that it wasn't the same directors from the first and the second one. They brought completely new people in. So that was jarring to me.
Yeah.
Well, I did like the first one better.
But you still like the second one, Mike?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Well, how about that? What do you guys think? There's a lot of things that happened during this actual news. Miller writes out and says, no, still coming out. Do you think that it's going to come out in 2027? Is it going to come out in 2026? Does it tie in? Because they've kind of tried to tie into all of the Spider-Man stuff. Will it tie into this Spider-Man 4? Is that one of the reasons that maybe they're having conversations with the MCU to say, let's push back something so we can time this out a little bit? Put your comments in there. Tell us exactly what you think.
How many questions, Kristian?
At the moment, Roxy, we have 13 questions.
13 is trash.
Well, hey, be nice.
13 is trash.
No, two is wonderful.
Put me up, Kristian. Put me up so they can see I'm smiling when I say it. 13 is trash.
2 is wonderful.
You got to get to 45.
No, you can put
13 is an unlucky number. What are we trying to do? Friday the 13th?
You can put
13.
Yeah, I told you. I said competitive.
46 is gorgeous. I said 46 is an amazing number. You know what's a sexy number? 46.
Perfect. Well, look, I'm happy with 1. I'm happy with 2. Thank you guys for as many questions that you're putting in there. It's very helpful. It helps out the show tremendously. And the other thing that helps out, if you want, is that I tell you guys every time about our wonderful sponsors. I'm going to tell you about 2 of them right now. Let's start with Liquid IV. Check it out. I was having a barbecue with the family, and I was going to go and went to pick up some games for the kids to play, and I was picking up cornhole, and while I was at the sports store getting it, I kept seeing Liquid IV, and more, I'm so excited that people are learning about Liquid IV because I've known about them now for a bit since they've been on the show. Liquid IV has refreshing summer flavors like popsicle firecracker, it's got rainbow sherbet. It hits the spot when you need transformative, hydrating relief. I really do enjoy it, and it's great to have Liquid IV. It really is, and I love this popsicle one, so I'm showing it right now. You can choose from their line of sugar-free flavors. They have raspberry melon, they have white peach, they have green grape. So what you want to do is you want to tear, pour, live more. One stick, 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. It's powered by LIV Hydroscience, which is an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. It's got 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So indulge in hydration this summer with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV, but you got to use liquidiv.com and use the code BIGTHING at checkout. You get 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today. Use that promo code BIGTHING at liquidiv.com. I'm going to tell you about Rocket Money. Rocket Money is the best, and I've told you so many times, and Roxy and I have talked about it, and what's so good about it is that it finds subscriptions that you forgot all about. And I've done that so many different times where I've had, oh my God, I signed up to this thing and then I forgot all about it. And then I hear pots and pans going in the background and I go, oh my God, I needed to realize that there was pots and pans coming from all over the place. And without Rocket Money, I wouldn't have known. No, they don't tell you about pots and pans, but they do tell you about having, it is a personal finance app. And it helps you cancel your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users. It saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. So stop wasting money on the things that you don't like. You got to cancel your unwanted subscriptions. You go to rocketmoney.com/bigthing. That's rocketmoney.com/bigthing. rocketmoney.com/bigthing. It's a really great service. I love it. Are you losing it over the pots and pans?
Was that? I didn't know you could hear that. I'm sorry, guys. This is new to me.
Look at Roxy.
I'm sorry. It's my bad. I needed some.
Roxy,
you're talking hydration, and I don't have one of those IV things. I needed some water.
It was like, pop, pop, pop.
I used it.
I thought you mute us.
I should have. I should have.
It's unprofessional. I'm sorry. I'll take credit.
Oh, it was funny.
I don't normally take credit when I do things messed up, but I'll take that one.
Okay.
He came back and behind the scenes, could you see Kristian? I was laughing. He was like, me? And I was like,
Pots and pans. It was amazing.
Sorry, guys.
It was good. It was good. But listen,
send me some of the hydration. Send me some
the
of
Liquid IV. It's great, dude.
Yeah, send me some.
Really okay. All right. Here's the thing. So we got 2 things. Roxy, I'm going to give you good news, and I'm going to give you news that we'll see if you like. Well, first of all, before I even do that,
trash
Roxy,
news or it's not trash news?
I want you to stop this for a second. I am going to tell you that I apologize to you because I said something about member berries. And you're like, you watch South Park?
Oh, you're a South Park
And I
fan?
said, yeah, I watched South Park, but it's not from South Park. It's been all over the place. And people corrected me throughout the comments. I think every other comment, which was
it was crazy.
Roxy
I never had support like that in my life.
It's like Roxy is 100% correct. This is from South Park. I was like, really? I stand corrected.
Well, this was my lesson to myself. So all I have to do to get support is be right.
That's
I'm gonna
it.
be right more often.
That's it. And just don't rely on everybody's thoughts. Just rely on your thoughts.
I love that.
I love that. Okay, so that's the first part.
Remember when I was right about South Park?
Well, there you go. You were. So there's the first part. Now I can tell you that we have now jumped up since you're you're threatening the audience, which I don't like when people do, but you did it in a cute way. So we're at 21 right now.
21 is less trash than 13. Let's be real.
22.
21, you can legally drink.
You are something else.
21, you make a lot of mistakes, but none of those mistakes were asking a question.
Yeah. Roka's sweating.
The smart people.
Roka's sweating. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to the topic. So we have a lot to talk about. So this is a story that we mentioned in the previous story. So Kristian is to direct Spider-Man 4. They've been looking for a Spider-Man 4 director, and there's finally movement on the fourth Spider-Man. Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings filmmaker Destin Daniel Cretton is reportedly in talks to sign on to direct the Spider-Man 4 at Marvel and Sony Pictures. Cretton takes over for John Watts, who directed the previous three Holland starring movies. Mark Webb helmed the two Andrew Garfield films, while Sam Raimi directed the Tobey Maguire trilogy. Tom Holland will remain in the role here, with Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers handling the script. Marvel head Kevin Feige and former Sony chief Amy Pascal are producing. The last film ended with the world magically forgetting who teenage Peter Parker was, including his friends and girlfriend, MJ. Cretton's Shang-Chi is considered one of the best post-Avengers Endgame films, and Cretton was slated to direct Avengers: The Kang Dynasty before exiting in November. More recently, he's been showrunning Marvel's Wonder Man series, which is now in post-production. He also remains attached to Shang-Chi sequel and a live-action Naruto film, but Spider-Man 4 is racing ahead and will shoot early next year, meaning those will likely go back on the burner. All right, so let me ask you a question. Here, we'll start with you, Mike. This is a movie that has been. There's two levels to this question. I'm going to start with the first. Okay. Let's start with the director, Cretton. Is this the right guy for the job? Shang-Chi, showrunner of Wonder Man. Now going into this, is he the right choice?
I don't know. How's that for an answer?
Good.
I don't know.
That's why you're here.
I don't know. I don't know.
The best color man in the business for nothing.
Here's the thing. You got if he has a passion for the character of Spider-Man, then he's the right choice, because he can shoot and craft a very good film with Shang-Chi. Like, the action played, he balanced multiple characters. He balanced kind of a fantastical element with kind of a more grounded element. So he's got all the things there. But if he doesn't have a connection to the character, like example I'm going to use, Matt, I think his name is Shankman, doing Fantastic Four. Like, I didn't know his work before that, but seeing his passion for the characters and the life, I was like, this guy. And then to see what they had shot and what they showed at Comic-Con, I was like, yep, right choice. This guy gets it. Done.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, he had a connection, I think he was saying, with Shang-Chi, with his upbringing. So there was that, and that's, I think, why that story resonated. Especially, I didn't care so much for the fantastical stuff in the third act. I liked his more grounded stuff in the first two acts. But you could tell there was a connection to the material. So for me, it all comes down to that. I mean,
okay,
if he connects to it, great.
It started with a terrible answer and ended up with a really good answer. So, Roxy,
I'll get there eventually.
It was good. Roxy, how are you feeling? Can I imagine? Can you imagine if I did that with you? How'd you feel about it, Roxy? How was your date? How was your last date? How was the last date? Any good?
Mike just was embodying Brett for a second. Oh no, my last date. Let's think.
Was it the crazy person?
I've been off it for a second.
Oh, okay. Probably
did
smart.
I tell you about the guy who asked me out, but then he had this whole speech about good boys versus bad boys, and then I deaded it.
Now we'll talk about some other time.
Man,
some other time. Some other time. All right. So tell me about
later.
So the director.
Did you guys see Just Mercy?
Which? Oh movie? Yeah. Did he direct that?
Oh, the Michael B. Jordan?
Yes.
Brie Larson and Jamie Foxx? Yeah, I did. I like that.
Okay.
I really like that movie. He did that movie. He wrote and directed that. That doesn't give me any more confidence necessarily in a Spider-Man movie. They have nothing to do with one another. I feel like it would give me more confidence in like a Daredevil movie. But I think good directors be doing good stuff. So now it's not just Shang-Chi that I loved. And I'm with you, Mike. The third act didn't fully work as well for me because I just don't like that kind of stuff as much.
Yeah.
But the more grounded stuff did work. We can see why, because somebody who can direct and write something like Just Mercy obviously has a good grip on reality and grounded. And I think that at this point, Tom Holland's been doing the role for long enough that he can bring the funny no matter who the director is. He's just got that in him. So I think they could be a really interesting pair. But also, I've never heard him talk about Spider-Man. So similar to Mike, I am curious, is he obsessed with Spider-Man? Is he, it takes, like, I feel like you'd have to find somebody under a rock who isn't, because Spider-Man he's the biggest. What's
I have a question. No, just what you're saying, Roxy.
What's happening?
I just a little addendum to what you're saying.
Yes,
because I almost kind of want to backtrack on what I said, because sometimes filmmakers that don't have an attachment to it make incredible. Like, and I used the analogy of J.J. Abrams in Star Trek.
To Tony Gilroy for the Andor.
But Star Trek, like this guy had no kind of connection to it. He's like, I was always a Star Wars guy, but his Star Trek reinvigorated the franchise. and did things with Star Trek that we'd never seen before. So maybe this will be a nice shot in the arm for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
he
look,
will.
So look, I'm with you guys.
My own words there.
Well, no, I'm with you guys with Shang-Chi. People love that movie. I think it's fine. I think that the first 2 acts are great, and the third act lost me because it's to the fantastical stuff and dragons flying around and everywhere, and that it was the actual story with the dad, the kids, like the character stuff that really got me with that. And that's what I think that this next Spider-Man should be. And the more grounded stuff. And that's what, from rumors, is that Feige and the crew want the more grounded street level Spider-Man, kind of playing into what they're also going with Daredevil, and that Sony wants the multiverse, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield team up, big huge movie with Rothman leading that thing. And I hope they don't go that route, because and in the same way that, like, I thought Jurassic World, the new one, was going to take a page and go, oh, we have a big IP. We don't need to put the big thing. We can actually go back to what made the first one special, make a kind of smaller story. They're not doing that. They're going cuckoo cuckoo with the monsters and all that crap again. So
how do you know?
You can tell.
There was the synopsis kind of came out where they're like Black Ops soldiers hunting dinosaurs.
It's going to be the cuckoo cuckoo stuff, all the nonsense. But
cuckoo cuckoo.
You are spending a lot of time with kids right now, Kristian. Cuckoo cuckoo, my dude.
Fit hit the shan is what they say. The fit hit the shan.
Cuckoo cuckoo.
Cuckoo cuckoo. Anyway, so I think that it needs to be ground level. And if they do, he proved in those first 2 acts that he can do it, because I don't blame the third act on him. That's the script he was given. Yeah. You know, it's like it wasn't the way that he shot it. It was the story, and they're like, okay, we want to go big here. We want to do this. And he's like, okay, give it to me. I'll do it. And this is how I did it. The directing of that stuff was great. It was just, I just don't like that they went there. That was the script. So I mean, he can handle it.
Screenplay.
Yeah. He did the screenplay too. So I mean, but it's not. He was told by them what they wanted. So it's a matter of, like, as long as they want the street level thing, which is, I hope, what they wind up getting. But I got to ask you guys, what do you think? Is this the way to go? Is this the director that we need here to make this happen? What say you guys? Put your comments in there. Tell us exactly what you think. Okay. So we're going to move on to another thing that, Roxy, I feel like I always misrepresent your opinions on these things. I feel like you're on board with me on this one, but I'll find out after I read the story. My guess is that you're on board with this. I think that you are, but it could be very well that you're not. The Harry Potter movies, books are turning into a series on HBO Max. I feel like Roxy is. I think she was calling for a HBO series forever. And I feel like that's where we landed on that. But anyway, HBO has opened a casting call for the key 3 roles of Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger in its upcoming Harry Potter TV series. Fans spotted the announcement circulating online Monday, with HBO subsequently saying that they were confirming it. Actors are required to be between the ages of 9 and 11 as of April 2025 and must be residents of the UK and Ireland. Otherwise, the notice indicates they are committed to inclusive, diverse casting, and so qualified performers are being sought, without regard to ethnicity, sex, disability, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, or any other basis protected by law under specifically indicated. Otherwise, actors are required to submit 2 self-tapes, one to be a max of 30 seconds and is a short poem, monologue, or story, but nothing from Harry Potter or the world of that franchise. The other to be a minute long with details about the actor. The submission deadline is October 31st. Filming on the series is expected to take place in the UK during 2025-2026. The show is expected to run for 7 seasons, with each adapting one of the books in J.K. Rowling's series. Francesca Gardner will showrun and executive produce. Okay, this is big news. Roxy, I'm correct that you've been calling for this series for a long time, right?
For years,
okay.
What we've been talking about.
Right.
Is I've been saying, why aren't you guys doing this? Why aren't you guys doing this? This is like an absolute dead ringer for them. And just even from a money-making perspective, it's like, this is clearly going to be such a W, as long as they don't do what Rings of Power did, which is spend $1 billion on it. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to spend a good amount of money, but I think this is a no-brainer. My whole thing on this show seems to be the youth, Kristian.
Yep.
The whole generation that now can come up with a Harry Potter show. And people who read the books know that they didn't include half the stuff in the movies. So doing a series will allow them to include some of the stuff that the book readers love as much as the stuff in the movies, as well as things that didn't make the movies. So I think that this is a no-brainer. What a cool thing to be the casting director of this.
Yeah, well, cool and
So
stressful
cool.
at the same time, because the casting for the movies were so good, so revered. Right? People, it's going to be, obviously like anything else, going to be compared to Daniel Radcliffe and the whole crew that was cast before them. So you're always going to have the comparison of who was the better one, that's just inevitable. That's going to happen. But what you don't want to do is cast somebody and you're like, that's terrible, bad actor, bad actress, doesn't work, doesn't fit the role, and just you can't ever fit into it, because there's times where you can cast that. I'll use Katie Sackhoff as an example, right? The second when Katie Sackhoff was cast as Starbuck, everyone's like, oh, girl for Starbuck, that's not going to work. That's terrible. And then she was one of the most loved things on the show. So it does work, but you have to be careful in casting. This is, again, they didn't know how many seasons Battlestar was going to want. They know this thing's going for 7 seasons. I agree with you, Rox. One of the main things that's so important about this is that I remember reading the books and then watching the movies, thinking the movies were so good, going, they left out so much. They left out so much. And another reason why I continue, Mike, when we talk about Star Wars, of why I think Star Wars should adapt their books, because there's so much you can turn a book like, whether it's the Darth Plagueis novel or whether it's the any of the novel. Even if they would have turned the Obi-Wan novel into a series, you could take that and turn it into an 8-episode, hour-long thing and really get deep stuff out of it. So, Mike, you hear all this. This is something I know that you had to study up on the Harry Potter movies when we were doing the Schmodown, and so you know it pretty well. How do you feel? Is this something that they should tackle? Is the casting how imperative is it?
When I heard the announcement, Miss Rowling is such a terrible person. She's tainted Harry Potter. It is this thing about inclusion, about this and that, and then the fact to see what she is and what she's this awful, awful person. I don't want this series to go forward. I don't want it. She's making hand over fist money on this thing. It's rewarding being an awful person.
Yeah, but see,
Daniel Radcliffe is beloved. Those three are so beloved in those roles. And again, I didn't watch the Potter. I didn't read the books. I had to watch them for the series, for the Schmodown. And I saw the first film, and I was like, "This just isn't for me." I'm generations beyond this, but I love that it got people. I remember the bookstores, the lines out the door for books for these kids and young people reading, and I was like, "This is awesome." That these people are finding a love of reading, and those are people that are now adults and are in careers that are teaching and whatnot. So I think it was generational, but it's done. It had its thing. It was they're great films, with great filmmakers, great actors, like the cat. Like, it's like watching Rings of Power. I can't tell you one actor in Rings of Power. You don't. And again, I know they're not. Those characters aren't there in the books, or different characters, but like all those characters in the films, Lord of the Rings, they made such an impact on those characters and the world. But these are going to be. So Rings of Power is different because it's not the same actors. These are going to be the same characters. We've seen all of these characters.
Yeah.
How do you beat Gary Oldman? How do you beat Alan Rickman?
Well, there's always there's always ways.
You're gonna beat.
Yeah, I don't think there's always.
Take it a race like?
But wouldn't you wouldn't you have said the same thing about because you're a Batman guy? So when they cast Heath Ledger, when they cast fine, but when they cast Heath Ledger, you were like, that guy's going to be over.
I was not. I've never liked that.
No, but okay, right. So then
I will always give the actor a chance.
Okay,
because
well then you're making your own point right now. So
but it's not. It's
what do you mean?
The Ledger, the Dark Knight is not. They were not remaking the '89 Batman.
No, but they're doing a different. But they're not remaking. But they're not remaking it. They're taking.
No. Let me finish.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
The Michael
Keaton
cool. Batman is a fantastical movie set in a fantastical world. Whereas the Dark Knight, they were doing a grounded. Like Nicholson's Joker would never work in Nolan's film. But the Potter films, it's the same story. You're setting in the same world. If they were going, we're going to take the Potter books and set it 200 years ago, but with the same story, then we're different. Or we're going to set it in the
How do you
future,
feel
in the future
about-
world.
Yeah, what about
What about
Percy
A Star Is
Jackson?
Born?
What about the Percy
What's up?
Jackson? What about the Percy Jackson? The Star is Born is a good one too. Percy
The
Jackson.
Star is Born, the first. That's not some beloved classic that
Okay, well,
generations talk about.
what about what it is? But what about Percy Jackson?
Oh, okay. No, do
Not
a
in the
poll.
same way. Not in the same way. Not in the same way. But it still is. But
Not
all
even
right, addressing
close.
all. There's a lot you said that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
The first is that I think that when it comes to remaking it, being able to explore it and tell more, streaming wasn't around during this time, to take these books, really evolve on it, and to see what can happen throughout it is something that is very intriguing. And if you're Warner Brothers, you want to expand on the IP. And that's to your previous point. We don't know what the deal is that they had with J.K. Rowling, that they could absolutely have like a licensing deal or something else that it could be from what they had, that they have privy to make whatever the hell they want, that she's already been paid out on this stuff through streaming so they can make TV shows and everything too. So you don't know that. What I feel is that also it's a matter of jobs, other things, opportunities for other people that, and I've been on the opposite side of this conversation with people that they don't agree with me, but I think that it opens up opportunities in the same way that people said that they weren't going to support The Flash when Ezra Miller was in it, and I said, well, then go and see it because of Michael Keaton. Go and see it because you want to see
it.
And so for me, it's like you're not just throwing down money on this. You already have HBO Max, and for me, I think that the world does mean a lot to a lot of different people, and I think that it's also a way for people that do feel slighted from J.K. Rowling, that they can make the stuff that she came and that she made about them, and about feeling that they were included in that way, and use it if they wanted to. So go ahead, Roxy. You're going to say.
I think that, first of all, Mike, couldn't agree with you more. I think she's absolute trash. Talk about real trash, not the trash comments that were coming in. Those were good trash. This is bad trash. She's trash. But the lawsuit against her right now is giving me so much joy, because finally, for the first time in a long time, she's just shut the fuck up, which is what we've all been waiting for. I think that this show is not going to make her any bigger at all. If I thought that and this is unfortunate because she might make money from it. I'm sure she will, but she's not the star of the show. So it's not like this is going to put her on people's television screens every day. I have an easier time separating the art from the artist when we don't have to effing look at them. Mm-hmm. It's why, it comes up on this show way too often, but like when Mel Gibson directs a movie versus when he stars in a movie, one of those I cannot watch. And the other one is like, I try not to, but it's not as distracting to me. Or when Motley Crue comes on, or when Michael Jackson comes on, or when certain people come on the radio and you're not looking at them, it's easier than when you have to do something like watch The Flash or watch American Beauty, or anything that we've seen that has somebody who's been like just absolutely canceled. I think that it's easier when it's the creator, and I don't think that this is going to make her star any bigger or give her a platform that she didn't already have. That's my hope, at least.
Look at the game. Look at the game. The game Hogwarts Legacy, right? Is that the name of that game? That game crushed. It was one of the biggest.
But it was also not the characters currently. It wasn't Potter. It wasn't Hermione.
It's still her world.
It is, but I'm just saying. Like, because I'm gonna Roxy. I'm gonna pull an Adam Gertler here. I'm gonna read the tea leaves.
Yeah.
I guarantee they're gonna cast Hermione and Ron as ethnic, and Potter they'll go like traditional white, and I guarantee that will be a firestorm. That will cause the internet to erupt on those dark corners of it, and then they're going to probably make some trans actors in the cast, and that's going to cause a firestorm.
Because
What's up?
Let it cause a firestorm. If people are upset about that,
right?
Okay.
But you need.
Well, wait.
As we're seeing,
but I want to go back to what Roxy's saying there, because wait a minute, because this will go back to the whole conversation that we just had about the Acolyte, right? So let's say that all that just happens. What you guys just said, you're 100% right. There will be videos made before the show ever airs. People will be causing a protest. The way to beat that is to make the show good. Yeah, if you make the show good, if the writing is good, it does not matter. They will not shut up. They're going to complain about it all the time. But if the show is good and people who are watching it going, all right, well, you know what? I didn't think the casting was, maybe they shouldn't have done it, but man, that fit the role. I'm into it. This is a good show. I was expecting it to stink, and it was great. If they can do that, which is possible, they can make it happen. That the Acolyte did not do that, and that's what I keep trying to tell people. It did not do that. There are people who loved it. Roxy really enjoyed it. There are people who liked it. There are people who liked it.
Acolyte Roxy?
She did. She liked it, but
I'm the only one I know, but I did.
But Roxy, but the thing is, Roxy is such a great representation of what I wish the majority of people who were watching this show that liked it understood. Roxy said, she goes, look, I get it. I love this show. She said, I really dug this show. I thought it was good. She's like, I did think the writing was good. I did think the acting was good, but it didn't do well. It didn't do well, and people weren't right. So it shouldn't come back. She was realistic about it. And it's like that's how it goes.
For sure. Yeah.
And the same goes for this show. No matter even if the casting is, if everybody's happy with it, and from the get-go, and it stinks, then it should go off the air.
Okay,
but no, they're committing to 7 seasons. We're gonna get 7 seasons.
You're not getting 7 seasons if people ain't watching it.
Wait, so what I will say though is, to Mike's point a little bit, what I couldn't help but kind of giggle when, Kristian, you were reading the description of the Dark Horizons article, and for some reason they decided to say, otherwise the notice indicates they are committed to inclusive, diverse casting, and so qualified performers are being sought without regard to ethnicity, sex, disability, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, or any other basis protected by law, unless otherwise specifically indicated. They were like, they
have to, right?
Felt like they had to specifically state that, which should be what it is for any role, right?
Yeah,
like
but this is so in tune with what's going on.
No, of course, but I'm just saying, whatever role we cast now, it should be best actor gets role. Best actor gets role. The actor best for that part gets role. But because these movies and these books have so much baggage because of JK, they immediately were like, don't worry, we're going to be as inclusive as possible. We're being inclusive. And I don't know that was necessary.
That's why I said something, because it was kind of like, you were like, wait, what are you saying? Why are you including all that? What is going on here? Why?
Yeah. Well,
that's fun.
All right, that was a lot.
Okay.
That was a lot. So I'm asking you guys in the comment section. I'm seeing it in the live chat right now. Put your thoughts on all of that. Do you think that this show should happen? Any of Mike's points, any of my points, any of Roxy's points, anything you agree with, disagree with, put it in the comment section. Let us know exactly what you think. All right, so currently we're at 29 questions right now. 29 questions. So we are going to, we're going to, so basically I think what we're going to do is, I'm going to cover one more.
29 is not trash.
All right, good. You're getting close. That's great. That's a great, we're going to cover, I'm going to cover this last story, and then we're going to jump into the questions because we do have quite a few of them. So let's get into this last story here, and that's our boy Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore 2 begins production. Adam Sandler and Netflix have confirmed that production has officially begun on the Happy Gilmore sequel. Both have shared a new photo on social media showcasing the character's famed Boston Bruins jersey. Sandler adds in the caption that they have only just begun. Nice. Sandler will reprise his role as the titular Happy Gilmore, while NFL superstar Travis Kelce and filmmaker actor Benny Safdie are both in the film in some capacity. Christopher McDonald, who played Shooter McGavin in the original, revealed in March that he had seen a draft of the script, so it's expected that he will appear. The Dennis Dugan-helmed original released in the U.S. February 1996 and went on to gross $39 million from a $12 million budget, along with it still being one of Sandler's signature roles. Happy Gilmore 2 does not yet have a release date. I'm so curious to what you guys think about this, because to me, this is such a good representation of where we are in media today, right? If you look at like Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop is a movie that you couldn't imagine 15 years ago only being on television. It would have been all over the 15, 20 years ago, whether it would have done well or not, or who knows, 15 years ago, 20 years or whatever it was. But it had to come out. Adam Sandler, you can imagine Adam Sandler was going to do a TV version of this. Now, this is where comedies live. This will be made for a lot more money than the original budget, I'll tell you that. And it'll do very well. People will be watching this. It'll still be a nostalgia thing. Whether it'll be any good, who cares? I just want to watch it. I want to see Happy back. I want to see there's going to be some stupid laughs, as long as I laugh a couple times. Hopefully it's better than Coming to America 2.
Did you say it's a TV series?
No, it's a movie for Netflix.
No, he was saying at one point you
Yeah.
would think something like
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah.
Listen, people are going to watch this, and I am people. This man's my obsession. He's on a like top 10 all time for me list. I love Adam Sandler. I love him. I even love his absolute trash, the word of the show. I love his trash. I love his gold. I love everything that he does. He is like my Jewish zaddy, and I am just so obsessed with him. I loved this movie growing up. I would watch this with my brother, all of them, everything that he did. So do I think that this movie needed a sequel? Obviously not. Obviously did not need a sequel. Nobody was sitting here like, you know what needs a sequel? This is what needs a sequel. But I actually think that this has the opportunity to be very funny and very good. And even if it's not, like you said, Kristian, I bet it makes a boatload of money and we see more of these.
Yeah. Mike, how you feeling about this?
There you go. That's my reaction.
That's it? That's all you got for Happy Gilmore?
Like, I don't like his stuff. Shorty Jackson.
Did you not like? You didn't like the original?
No,
Really?
it's not for me. It's just not for me. I think
I hate
A
your
you
guts.
problem, Mike. That's a you problem.
That's a you
it
problem.
is. It is. What was it? 30 years ago?
96.
Almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Comedy's different. Comedy changed.
Wow.
And like, look at me. Look at you as a person. Harloff, look at you and I. We became friends in our 20s.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the same person I was in the frat days.
No, you're more of an a-hole
But if
now.
I'm going to make a movie about Mike Kalinowski, frat boy, and then 30 years later we're going to make the sequel to Frat Boy Mike, and I'm still the same, doing the same, talking the same way and doing this. It's like,
Well, you don't know if you don't know if he's doing the same thing.
oh, dude, come on.
What do
They're
you
not gonna
mean?
He's got the same damn shirt on.
But I don't mean. But the character. I'm
I don't
saying.
wear
But the
same
character
clothes I
might
wore
have.
30 fucking years ago.
But the character might have evolved a little bit. You know. You don't
No,
know.
he's got a
and,
kid,
and
and
Sandler.
he's, like, different.
Look,
He's got
this
a
is when
teenage son
Sandler's at his
that's
best.
into golfing.
Sandler's my favorite Adam Sandler movie of all time is The Wedding Singer. And what he does so well in that is that he combines the goofiness with the heart. And there is some heart in Happy, but less than in The Wedding Singer. I hope that he combines the two of it. I hope he combines the two. It's what's gonna be missed, obviously, though, is the late great Carl Weathers as Chubbs. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%. What other, this is a question for Kristian, not for Mike. Not Mike, you can't even answer this question. Kristian, this is just for you.
Yeah.
Although I'm obsessed with doing this show with Mike, I've missed you so much, it hurts. Okay, Kristian, what other Adam Sandler movie would you want to see a sequel of?
Wedding Singer. Wedding Singer.
That's the number one.
Yeah, I would like to see. If maybe a movie with them, and I guess 30 years later it would be like the 2000s, a little
That
after
would
the
be
2000s.
so great.
Yeah, like
I'd like a sequel
the
to
two of
Little
them.
Nicky.
Oh God, no. That was
you?
no. He's
No.
kidding. He's kidding. It was a terrible movie. Anyway,
Oh,
all right.
joke.
So how you guys
You know
feeling?
what would be good too?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you don't care.
Go ahead. Tell me.
You don't care what I think.
I care.
Well, I don't want to get to the
50 First
questions.
Dates.
That'd be a good one too. Either one with the two of them.
That's good. That's.
I just don't know if Drew
Drew
Barrymore wants to
Barrymore's my
act.
number one.
Yeah.
You know I'm a.
I don't know if she wants to
Drew
act
Barrymore's
anymore.
number-
I mean, she
Do
might,
you
but
think
she's
I
doing.
care?
No, you should tell her that. You should tell her. All right, guys,
care
what do you
if you
think
want
about that? Happy Gilmore coming back. Do you care? Do you not care? Because you have Netflix, and one of the reasons that this stuff works is that because you have it, you'll probably watch it. So that's how it works. What do you think? Put your comments in there. Tell us what you think. Okay. So now we're going to get to your questions. And before we do that, I wanted to tell you guys about two of our wonderful sponsors, both the Perfect Gene, which I absolutely love, and I'm going to also tell you about PrizePicks. But let's start here, and I'm going to tell you about the Perfect Gene. Perfect Gene is wonderful, and I have been using them now for quite a bit, and I got them a while ago when they were on the show, and they're stretchy, they fit perfectly, they are absolutely wonderful. I've been wearing them. I told this on the show yesterday. I was doing like apple picking, and I was wearing them, and they feel nice. I get complimented them on all the time. I just think that they are a new kind of jean that I just didn't even know that I wanted. And when they were sent to me, I was like, okay, let's check it out. And I just wear them all of the time. Shipping is free. Returns are free. Exchanges are free. It's absolutely wonderful. So if you guys, the other thing that I love about it is it protects your ball bags. It really does. So you didn't see that coming. I've been talking so nice, but it does. It Yeah, the dog knows it too. You have to. The dog tries to bite on the stretchy pants, not going to work because it doesn't stop. They've done so much great stuff. They revolutionized T-shirts. The perfect T-shirt has just enough stretch to hide the beer belly while accentuating your arms and your chest for that flawless look. It is soft as butter without shrinking in the wash like all your other tees. It's great. Absolutely wonderful. So it is time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans and go to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners will get 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use that code BIGTHING at checkout. 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with the promo code BIGTHING. So after your purchase, though, please, they're going to ask about, hey, where'd you hear about us from? Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Very important. F your khakis. Get the perfect jean. How about PrizePicks? And I know that you guys are excited that the football season is indeed here. Well, PrizePicks is wonderful. It is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It has over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. So PrizePicks, it really is the best. It is the best. You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. They invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup's not perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. So I was looking for one of these sites, and I was told about PrizePicks. My friend was using PrizePicks, said, you got to check it out, and it's great. It's fun and it's simple. That's the easy thing. It's fun and simple. And so when there was the Aaron Judge, my first one, wonderful. Down the PrizePicks app today. Get that. Get it today. Download it. The PrizePicks app, get it, and use the code BIGTHING. Get $50 instantly when you play that $5. Use that code BIGTHING on PrizePicks. You get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, thank you to PrizePicks and the Perfect Gene. Really appreciate them joining. Roxy, I'm excited because you today, you know what we launched? The Matt Serra Show.
Whoa.
Matt Serra
love
launched
that guy.
Yeah, he launched his podcast today. It is Geeking Out with Matt Serra. And he launched it. And not only did we launch it today, he's talking X-Men films, but he's going on Joe Rogan today to promote it. So that's
awesome.
That's good.
Congratulations.
So, so that's going to be a big one. So you guys can check that out and watch Matt and Phoenix Carnivale talking about X-Men films, which is hilarious. And thanks to, yeah, go ahead, Rox.
No, go ahead.
I was just thinking, Luke from the Galaxy Geeks, he made the logos for that, and again, a really great intro to the show. So it's a solid show. I'm excited for people to see it.
You said he's talking about X-Men?
Yeah, the first one's X-Men worst to best. And
Cool.
then next week, next week he has Ray Longo on, who's his trainer, and he. Are
you going to train?
I'm going to, yeah. I'm going to. So he's been trying to get me in every Wednesday. It's been tough to do, but I'm going to. Now he's out of town right now, so but we will. But all right, let's get into.
Now we don't film Wednesdays, so that might help you.
It will.
I just texted Brett because this camera situation is crazy.
He's out of town too.
I know, but I thought maybe he'd respond, but he didn't. And I want people to know that.
Yeah. All right. Let's get these questions because Roxy got 32 questions. 32 questions. So.
Roker, we're coming for you.
I don't think you're going to catch it, but you won't catch it. But you got close. 32 is a great debut.
You don't know that?
I do. Jason Ashcroft. However you feel about the state of Star Wars, now is not the time. Let us come together as a fan base and honor the man who played one of the greatest characters in fiction. Yes, James Earl Jones was an absolute wonder, and the fact that, the stuff that he did and what he brought to Darth Vader was just untouchable. So, very true and good statement. Okay, Ewok. I'm just doing my part to help Roxy and Mike beat Roka's record of 45. R.I.P. to James Earl Jones. In addition to Star Wars, I loved him in Coming to America, Conan the Barbarian, and The Hunt for Red October. All 3 great movies. Great listing, and I love hearing how much this dude meant to so many people. Armada. I like the Old Man season 1 a lot, but I felt the flashbacks were a bit boring at times. Anyways, excited for season 2 this Thursday nonetheless. Mike, I know you're a big Old Man fan like me, so
Dude.
yeah, go ahead, tell us. You're excited.
I can't wait. I'm in disagreement. I did enjoy the flashbacks.
I did too.
Yeah, that both actors did a real nice, especially the Lithgow guy did such a good job of mimicking.
He did. That's a great point.
Yeah,
he did a
that
really
Lithgow
good job.
guy was like because Lithgow's got such a distinct voice, but so does Bridges. But I love that show, and that's one of the reasons I love John Watts. And yeah, I'm excited for that show.
I am excited for that show.
I didn't realize it was this week. It starts. I forgot.
Yeah, this Thursday.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so people are going to be asking because I never got a response from Roxy, so I'm assuming we're not doing TV picks today.
The way you phrased it make it sound like that you didn't want them.
That's not true.
You were like, if you want to do them, and I was like, I don't know.
No, I wanted you to do them. It's like I didn't know if you were because I hadn't heard from you, so I wasn't sure. I always want you to do that. I always want you to do them. How about that? And
okay.
And especially after I finish Shogun.
One.
Okay.
I'll give them one at the end because a lot of them are the same as last week. But like low key, Kristian, why do you watch The Old Man?
Because I love it.
Because I recommended it to you.
I don't think so. I think I found it. I didn't find. I know that you might have
watched a show that I haven't recommended to you in a decade.
You don't think that? You told me I never watch shows that you recommend.
Yeah, but the only shows you do watch are the ones I recommend. You just don't watch a lot of TV. I love this show.
The only one that I know that you recommended that I definitely watched because you recommended, and I was Severance.
Yeah, that's so good.
Severance, I was gonna bail on because I told you I can't take this walking down the hallway, and it was one of my favorite shows. It was so good.
Yeah, some people didn't like that pilot, but I really did. Yeah. Old Man is awesome. I was worried with the way that we ended season 1, and you guys know like the behind the scenes and health issues that we were never going to get a season 2, and it was just kind of going to fall by the wayside. So I'm so excited that we have this season 2.
Me too. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought when they and his health came back to finish, but I was like, oh, they're not doing season 2.
I'm so glad that they are.
They did it and did it fast. Yeah. Loved it.
Okay, here's the next one. Mike Joyce. Kristian has his Julia Roberts opinion. Mike and Roxy, what's a unique hill that you'll die on?
What's the Julia Roberts hill?
I told you this. Have you not?
She's the hottest person on the planet.
Oh, have you not? You've not been a part of this conversation yet because we haven't done this live. Roke and I got into a conversation about Florence Pugh now in her prime and Julia Roberts in her prime. And
I remember a little bit about this last week.
He thinks that he doesn't think Julia Roberts is attractive at all. And
Wait, what?
Yeah. And I said she's the GOAT, and I think Florence Pugh is a phenomenal actress. I just don't think she's this end all be all that so many people think that she is. As far you put the two of them compare it, I think it doesn't even compare. So
why were you guys comparing the two?
I don't know how it came. I said something along the lines because we brought up a Florence Pugh movie, and I said I think she's really talented. I just don't find her as attractive as everybody else does. And he was like, "You're crazy. She's better than Julia Roberts." I said, "You're nuts. You're crazy." And so
they're such different types.
They're so different.
Totally. There's movie star and girl next door. Totally.
Yeah, there just would be so many. I mean, like compare Julia Roberts to Emma Roberts, like
right.
She's more in line.
Yeah.
But okay, so your take is that that's just a normal
he's just
thing.
asking what's a unique hill that you'll die on. I guess because there were a lot of people because I think it's recency bias.
Oh, I got a hill I'll die on.
Go ahead.
I believe that in Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, The Dark Knight is the weakest film.
Wow. Yeah, that's a stupid statement.
No, it's 100%, and I'll back it up till
you can't back.
Your
Well, you
least
can't
favorite?
back. Yeah,
it's my least favorite, and I think it is the least Batman movie in a Batman trilogy.
Did you say that on DC Movie News? And
I said it all the time.
He just said
Batman
it live.
Begins.
I blacked it out. I blacked that out because that would make me really look at you differently.
You just did.
Because the fact that you guys are all watching it as fans of movies and comic books, but you're not watching it as a Batman fan, and the fact that if you take him out of the Batsuit in that film, it's a crime drama. There's nothing Batman about it.
Okay.
Gotham City is Chicago. They don't do anything to hide it.
Roxy, my take on Julia Roberts is smart. That one, not so much. Do you have one?
I tend to think that PTA's movies are extremely pretentious, and I do not like Phantom Thread.
Okay, that's a fair one.
I agree with that one.
All right, let's say next one here, and this is from Armada. Corey Coleman, the great Corey Coleman. What's right? What's wrong?
It only because it pops up on my screen, not on my phone, Christian. But DC Movie News chat popping off right now because our producer Ryan Nilsson, who used to produce
Yeah.
this, said, "Mike, you think Dark Knight is number 3 ranked in that trilogy?"
Yeah.
Which is amazing that this live show immediately the DC Movie News
Coming
show
in
that
hot.
you put together, Christian, like 10 years ago, still has a chat that's
It does.
going.
All right. Armada, Corey Coleman, the great Corey Coleman, says he's been around New York September 27th. You should try to hit him up if he wants to be on the show sometime. I will, because I love Corey. And if Corey can get to my part of town, I'd love to have him on. He's hilarious. I'm a big fan of Corey. I think he's a great guy. Armada follows it up. The new LL Cool J album is fire. Produced by Q-Tip from the Tribe. Very jazzy rap. I love hearing that. Hope Q makes more of a comeback. I love hearing that. That's great. Thank you for telling me that. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm going to check that out. I didn't know. Those are two. I mean, LL is...
Produced by Q-Tip?
Yeah. Don't sound any more white than you are.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Is this by Q-Tip?
You don't know who Tribe Called Quest is?
Who?
Are you
A Tribe Called Quest. Yes, I've heard of that.
Okay.
Is Q-Tip in that?
No.
No, it's just a non sequitur. Q-Tip's in your ear.
Yeah, of course. Yes,
That I know.
Q-Tip is in it, and he dated Nicole Kidman. Derek Johnson. My 2 James Earl Jones roles that I grew up with are with Mufasa and as Thulsa Doom. And Conan scared the hell out of me. Yeah, he was scary, especially with that hair as a villain. Do you think he got his proper flowers while he was alive? I feel like we celebrate these people too late sometimes. I think James Earl Jones got love anytime you brought him up. I mean,
I agree.
I think that anytime someone passes away, they get more, obviously. But yes, I do 100% think he got a lot of love because he was beloved by so many.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Simon Section, thank you, Simon. Kristian, I was actually thinking about Field of Dreams when I woke up from my nap. I guess it's the universe way of telling us that he went home giggling. He even made Soul Man watchable. R.I.P. King. Was he in Soul Man? I think that he was. But do you remember that Soul Man movie? That's a movie.
Of course I do.
That's a movie that would never get made today. I'll
They
tell you
remake that today. Why not?
No, you're right. Who's touching that with a 10-foot pole? No way. Do you even know what that movie's about, Roxy? Soul Man?
No, you don't mean Soul Train. You
No,
mean Soul Man.
Soul Man was a movie with
C. Howell.
C. Thomas Howell, who and Ray Don Chong, and he's trying to get into a college, but he can't. So I think it's because of affirmative action, he pretends he's a black guy, and goes and he's in blackface the entire movie. And this is an '80s movie, and it's like not.
It aged well, I'm assuming.
No way.
Well,
You go ahead. We're gonna say
I'm just talking and spitballing.
Yeah, go ahead.
But why would they make White Chicks again today?
Did they?
They want to remake that. There's the talk of doing it again.
Yeah, it is.
I know.
Different.
I get it because the history of what that is.
Yeah, it's different.
I get it. I'm just saying.
All right.
I don't want to see. I don't think I ever saw Soul Man, but I know.
Yeah,
and what it is.
It was a movie of its time. Armada. Would Richard choose Lisa Ann over Miss Garrett? I have to ask him. We'll see if Roxy can listen to them. Would I choose
Garrett?
Lisa Ann over Miss Garrett? I mean, look, Lisa Ann can do some tricks here and there, and listen, it's like a machine and whatnot. But Mrs. Garrett is a pure way of punishment, in a good way, if you know what I'm saying. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate it. Wonderful. He's got a thing with Mrs. Garrett. Yeah. So, Steve Catino, thank you. Catino. I think that's it.
Good.
Catino. Close. Sorry, Steve.
Good job, Christian.
Butchered the poor guy's
Doing
name.
good, pal.
Lion King was the first movie I saw in theaters as a kid when my little sister and I clapped. I'll never forget how that made me feel. R.I.P. Yeah, Steve, you know what's funny about that too? I saw that with my late brother. We went and we saw that one in Florida. I saw it with him, and yeah, it's a lot of memories there for those movies for sure. So that's yeah, he was the best. Derek Johnson. On Monday's live show with Roka, Kristian did plug the appearances of Mike and Roxy on today's show, and it's literally the only reason I knew that you'd both be on today. See, Roxy? I did promote it.
That's great. No,
Yeah.
Did I say you didn't?
Yeah, in the beginning of the show, you said I didn't
No,
promote
I just said that you didn't tweet it, so I couldn't retweet it. So my people aren't here to support Tom.
Fine. I'm going to give another chance here. Steve Catanillo. Love
Better.
the channel for years, by the way. Thank you, Steve. Love Kristian, Mark, John, and crew, and Roxy too, of course. Good day. Thank you, Steve. That was very kind of you. Steve coming in with a great question and a lot of love. Okay, next one. We're at 35, Rox. You're 10 away. You're 10 away.
Whoa, keep on plugging, you non-trash people.
Renee Reyes. Question for Roxy. Roxy, you went to Chicago for Star Wars Celebration in 2019, yet you didn't even go to the 5-day event one time. Can you explain these horrendous acts?
I just want to be clear. I didn't go to Chicago for Star Wars Celebration. I went to Chicago, and it happened to be Star Wars Celebration. I went there for the Schmodown, which was during that. Oh. And then I was with my best friend who lives in Chicago. So I spent the 5 days having the time of our lives going around Chicago and being debaucherous. And I didn't make it to Star Wars Celebration. That's just what happened.
Fair. Hey, that's fair. And I think, because Steph, the first one she went to was the one that... Was that your first Star Wars Celebration too, Mike? When the three of us went?
Yeah, 22.
That was one of my...
I saw you guys there, and that was my first also.
It was one of my favorite moments I will ever... God. Dude, I ever will have was when we were coming back from Disneyland, and Mike almost got hit by a lady in one of those rolling cars, and the move he made to get out of the way. Steph and I we both fell on the ground laughing in tears. It was the funniest thing. What did you do? It was just like it was a whole the whole story would take too long to tell, but essentially what happened was we were all walking, and we tried to get out of the way of this because there were people coming, and then we crossed the street, and like magically this woman on this chair just appeared behind Mike and almost ran him over, and he did like this weird step to get out of the way, and it was like
ended up in the bushes.
It was just amazing. I mean, it was just truly amazing.
And she didn't even say anything. Thank you.
No, that was part of the best. It was just like get out of the way. Like I'm meant to run you over.
Also, Kristian, what's a rolling car?
I don't know.
An ECV, like the
rollers.
Motorized wheelchairs.
Doesn't matter.
It's not it's a motorized scooter, not a wheelchair.
Mike's going to like this one because someone agrees with him. Hey, Derek Johnson says, I totally agree with Mike. These super long delays between blockbuster movies, I hate them. Some people just lose interest. Look what happened to Invincible on Amazon. That long delay caused a huge drop-off in viewership. It does take a long... I mean, look, House of the Dragon's another one if it's going to have enough time to catch up because the second season was not as beloved as the first. I loved the second season. But that could be something that's going to hurt. So, but Mike, what do you think about Derek? He agrees with you.
Hey, he's a smart man. Simple as that.
Perfect. Good comments.
Concise, to the point.
Great. Thank you. Derek's the best. Thank you, Derek, for all your support. Derek supports all the damn time. Nick Alexander, RIP to a legend. So many good memories of James Earl Jones. By the way, Roxy, did you see the Real Rejects scare footage? What's that? What's the Real Rejects scare footage?
I don't know.
So the answer is no.
I don't remember the last time that I didn't see footage that they did because I handle all their social stuff. So was that a YouTube video? No, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it, so Roxy didn't see it. Following that, Mark, Jason Ali. What's up, Mark? Roxy, I finally watched Always Lola. The film is fantastic. You were amazing. Was there a conversation about you playing Kat as well as Lola? Nice question.
Thank you so much. No, there was not a conversation about that. I will take this opportunity to plug that I'm in a movie that premieres tonight.
Nice.
And we have our movie premiere. It's called Crust. If you're a horror nerd, it's with Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, Sean Whalen from People Under the Stairs. It's his directorial debut. Alan Ruck's in the movie. Danny Roebuck, if you're a Lost person. So I'm really excited. It premieres tonight. And I actually think that they're allowing for the premiere a few fans. I think people are DMing Sean Whalen, the director. So if you're in the LA area, reach out to him. And there might be a couple seats left for the premiere.
Awesome. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you to that question by Mark. Okay, so this is Haskell, 420. Cliffhanger ending of Fast X. That's right. Good call. Dom and his son about to be drowned or killed from the dam blowing up when it ends. When they start filming Fast 1 or 2. Wait, sorry, Fast 11. When they start filming Fast 11. He said 1 of 2. That he didn't come in yet, his second one. But
Kristian can read all the words.
No, I can't.
Kristian knows all the numbers. Kristian.
Fast and Furious 1 and 2.
Go ahead, Mike, sing it.
11.
Go ahead. Mike Kalinowski. He hates everything. Doesn't really matter whether you talk or sing. He'll tell you that you suck. He'll tell you you're the worst. And it doesn't matter if you're last or first. Hit him with a golf cart. Yeah. I like that song. I do too. Perfect. All right. Here we go. This is it. We did that one already. Okay. So Haunted Autumn. Don't spend it all in one place. Thank you, Haunted Autumn, with a nice donation. We won't. Appreciate that. So this is from Roman Fedorak. Hey, crew. Excited to be here and see you all. What are your most anticipated movies for the rest of the year? Gladiator 2 is the big one for me. And Kristian, I believe. What are some others? Gladiator 2 is certainly up there, my friend, as is Joker 2. Those are probably the two that I go to immediately when I think of those. I'm sure there's some other. Saturday Night is another one that I'm excited to see. But I think out of those, Roxy, what say you?
Those my exact two are Joker and Saturday. Those are the ones that I'm looking forward to. The Joker reviews have got me a little conflicted, though.
But weren't the original have
yeah, they were like
the same thing.
It seemed like there was a repeat exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, however, I don't remember from the original, maybe you guys do, that one of the main criticisms was that it's dull. Like the word dull keeps coming up, which sounds crazy to me because this is a Joker musical. So I don't understand, even if you don't like it, dull. That's a weird critique. So it makes me wonder what's going on in this film.
Okay. We'll see. I mean, I am curious about it. The screenings are coming pretty soon. So
are they, Kristian? I wouldn't know.
I think so. Sorry, Rox. I can't help you out anymore. I'm not there.
Mike, I can't get invited to shit anymore.
What happened, Rox?
I don't know. I used to be able to not only get myself in, but get all.
Yeah, what happened? You used to go everything.
No one cares.
What happened?
I'm not cool anymore, man. I'm just not cool anymore.
I heard myself saying I didn't mean it like that. Did you hear what I said?
Nobody cares.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said nobody cares, but I didn't mean nobody cares that you're saying it. I meant that clearly they look at the emails and nobody cares what I'm doing here. I'm trying.
Roxy, what you're saying right now, nobody cares.
Roxy, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
You're probably right though. That's not what you intended. Probably nobody cares about this issue.
Nobody cares. Derek Johnson, the trash comment. LOL, I'm done sending them right now. Thank you, Derek. Derek, you sent it a ton, man. Thank you. And and Roxy's kidding too, by the way. It's like anybody, you put in one comment and I'm happy when people put in one comment. Dennis Hoffman.
Me too. I don't think any of you are trash. Only the ones who didn't put
They
in
know.
the
They just know you're competitive. And you're at 38. You're at 38, Rox.
Oh,
7 away.
Shit.
7 away with a half an hour to go. Dennis Hoffman, 13 questions is good. You see Wolfman trailer. Thoughts? I dug it. Ideas for the next Uni Monsters movie via Blumhouse. Who's directing? Well, I don't know the next Uni's Monster because I feel like they don't know how to get it done. But Blumhouse to me is always they're just the magic studio, because even if they don't put, I just saw I don't even know if the embargo's dropped, so I won't leave too much of it. But the Speak No Evil last night, which is a remake of I think it's a Danish film. And it's James McAvoy, and it's a Blumhouse film, and it's conventional. It's fine. He's just playing a lunatic the whole time, but it was entertaining, and they're going to make money on it because it probably cost nothing to make. And it's movies like that'll probably do pretty well. Go ahead, Rox, you say something?
Well, Mikey would know more about this than me, but I just went and did the Terror Tram at Universal Horror Nights, and it's all Blumhouse themed. And going through, I was just like, man, Blumhouse just slaps across the board. They're so great. Like, I love what Blumhouse has done for the horror genre. It's really cool to see.
Yeah. Good. Thanks, Mike. So Roman Fedorak, also something I meant to add yesterday. You talked about Chinoy possibly leaving the Ray movie. What leads you to believe that? Not disagreeing, just curious. This is something Mike and I can chime in on. I said...
Now what?
I got this one. Don't worry.
Go ahead, Roxy. Take it.
Yeah, that would be crazy, right?
Perfect. Just perfect.
Color commentary on point.
The reason why I say it, I don't have any inside information on it. I don't have anybody that told me that she's leaving. My thought process in it is that if in the only movies that they have coming out that we know for sure is the Favreau movie that they announced in 2026. They've already announced
Mandalorian and
Grogu. They announced that they're going to do that movie, and they announced at D23 that movie is coming out in May. They announced that they were putting a movie out in 2026, and everyone hinted that it was going to be this Rey movie. They brought Rey out on stage at one point too. They have D23. They have an opportunity to announce their 2 movies. They announce 1. When they've already announced what that 2026, and they're getting closer and closer to the production of having to go into production for one of these movies, does that necessarily mean it's not going to happen? No, but I just don't think it's going to. And I think that one of the reasons is I think that it's going to be a back and forth. And I think that the same type of thing is happening. And I think she'll wind up leaving the project, but I could be wrong. Mike, we've had conversations about this. Do you think she's going to wind up directing this movie? Do you think this movie's going to happen? I guess too.
I don't know, man. That I don't know. I kind of feel because it's already an established character with Rey, they're a little more steady ground than Taika, Mangold, Benioff and Weiss. Any of these ones that came in with a take that was like, this is what I want to do. And they're like, yeah, go do it. This at least is the Rey. Like, it's an established character. They know that there's a fan base for her. I think it gives a little more leeway to her that she'll stick it out and keep going. But it all, man, again, man, like we say, they need a hit. They need that first movie to knock it out. And I
They
think
really do.
Mandalorian Grogu's the first one.
Mandalorian Grogu's the first one. They got that.
They gotta nail that.
They're going to. It's so exciting.
That movie will make money. But Mike, it's very similar to what we've been talking about with Marvel, though. But Captain America, the new Captain America, that's the one that needs to make money for Marvel.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said this forever. I was like, Deadpool Wolverine's gonna make $1 billion. Right. That's not the steal that Marvel's fixed their issue.
That's my point. That's my point.
It's going to be the 1-2 punch of Cap and Thunderbolts.
I know, but that's my point, though, with Star Wars, is that you have to have the same thing happen now with Star Wars.
You got to get.
Yeah.
Roman Fedora. Shows have anything to do with it?
Well, they no, it's not going to necessarily help. But it looks like they're only going to do 1 show per year now, and so Andor is the only show that's coming out next year, and then Ahsoka will be the only one after that. So, which I think is smart for them to do right now because they have their heads up their rear ends. So now let's say that's just Roman Fedorek following up. Now I'm just adding things to not make this trash. Just kidding. You're all amazing. Thank you, Roman. We're always so supportive of the show. And then Ed part 2 here. After the Hobbs movie, it'll be what, 4 or 5 years. He's talking about the Fast and Furious movie. Yeah, it's too long between I agree with Mike that when it comes to, because you're like, oh wait, and then you got to catch up again because you might have just forgotten about what the hell's happening, and like, oh, that's really tough. And that was one of I'll bring up, this is a TV show, I'll bring up like Sopranos, right? I did a rewatch of the entire series of The Sopranos when Many Saints came out, and I was shocked and not shocked at the same time how much, I really loved it so much watching it, the rewatch, and I remember being disappointed in some of those episodes that I was not disappointed on the rewatch because it was the length of time that it took in between like season 3 and season 4. It was like 1.5 years, 2 years. I hadn't caught up on everything. I'd forgotten certain things, and then it was like because it all flowed together once it was there. But it was like it's that weight of like, and that was during a time when you didn't have as much stuff to watch. So yeah, it's I agree with what Mike was saying there. Haskell,
are you watching Wise Guy?
So the answer is I started it, and I'm going to. Robert Eiler was the first one who told me about it when he was on the show, and he told me how great it was and that they have did you see the episode 1 already?
No, it's my next binge.
All right, they'll have to talk about that.
It's not much of a binge. It's short.
It's like 2 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Haskell 420. Roxy, check out The Anonymous on Peacock. It's like Big Brother, but the house guests talk smack about each other anonymously behind a screen. That sounds up your alley. That's
good rec.
Trash TV. Mike Joyce, I was surprised to hear the reason why Roxy hates Man of Steel on an OSA. What's OSA again?
Only Stupid Answers. That's DJ.
Oh, okay, right. Pa Kent died because he and Clark believed the world wasn't ready for someone like him, right? That was my interpretation. So I'm assuming one of the reasons you didn't like the way that I don't like the way Pa Kent died either in that one. I like that movie a lot, but I don't like how they did that. And then Mike, I'm sure, is going to be able to at least chime in on this one.
Well, Mike's heard my take on this for so long. I didn't like Man of Steel, and Superman was not my Superman. Because to me, the lesson is supposed to be there was nothing Superman can do about this. That's what happens when you can be as super as you want, but heart attacks happen, death happens. There's things that you cannot control. So the dog situation just drives me nuts to this effing moment. It ruined the entire movie for me because I think that it is so egregious that this lesson was like, the world isn't ready for you, so be chill. And he's like, okay, I won't go save him because he told me the world's not ready for me. Drives me like up the wall bananas. It's just so not Superman.
Well, the reason that it got me is because I liked in the idea that because Superman had all this power that he can beat nature. He just couldn't beat it. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He just couldn't beat it. That was I agree. But like that. But the movie itself, I actually really enjoyed. But Mike, you're scrunching up your face. How do you feel?
Yeah, I just, of course, disagree. But I think the problem why it doesn't work for a lot of people too is I think they should not have used Cavill in that scene because he's supposed to be like 16 or 17.
Right.
If they would have used the younger kid in that scene where he's not as powerful, he's not, I think it just makes a strong choice. And again, it everything that happened before informs it. Like people don't think Pa Kent should say, well, should I not save other people? It's like, no, sometimes you might not have to. Like if you were brought up, if Superman landed in this world today, they would absolutely tell him to not, like they might say like, you can't help this government will take you apart and you'll be half the world will hate you and half the world will think you're a savior. And just, you can't do this, man. You got to live your life for yourself. So I think what would have fixed that is make him younger.
Yeah, that's not a bad
14
It
or
wouldn't
15.
have fixed it at all for me.
Yes.
The most unrelatable thing on the planet for anybody with a dead parent is I could save my dead parent right now, or I could save myself. Piss off with that.
Right.
I just can't. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, I don't like you. Like, don't do what you're doing.
Well, you'll like this, Roxy. We're at 41.
Not trash.
Right.
I mean, legends. That feels like in the next 19 minutes, don't you think we should be able to?
I'm gonna text Roka and I'm gonna say they got close. Steve Catanillo again. Thank you, Steve. I love Mexican food. Having a burrito. I want one. I got some at home. I got to go back.
Burrito.
Going back into the city tonight. I'm going to see Transformers 1. So we'll see how that one turns out. Epsilon Audio. When it comes to the Harry Potter series, is there enough about Voldemort in the books that wasn't in the movie to make him interesting again? I think so. I think that there's a lot of detail in those books that they left out. Do you guys think? Well, I won't ask Mike because he doesn't want to see it anyway. But Roxy, do you think there's enough detail for Voldemort?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think there is.
He would not be the character that I would be having like second thoughts about. I think definitely Voldemort's like one of the creepiest, scariest ever.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty creepy. They got to get somebody really good to play that role. Carlton Rudder, what's up, Carlton? London Calling. James Earl Jones was a true legend, iconic voice from my youth. First live show with Roxy, looking lovely as ever. Mike's no slouch either. Yeah, there you go. Mike's looking svelte, as Roxy would say. Svelte, whatever. Simon Section. Good job. In Jurassic Park, so there will be a walrus. Is Tusk and the Jurassic World coming together like Men in Black and 21 Jump Street? Also, I was thinking about Field of Dreams before I saw the news. But that's my problem with, I think, what they're going to do with Jurassic. They don't learn, these studios. Instead of saying, they're going to do the opposite of what I think that they should do. They're going to do go bigger, go ridiculous, go monsters, go this. You know what I mean? They're going to go, well, we have to spend all this money to do this. We got Scarlett Johansson and we got Mahershala Ali. Let's do this really ridiculous thing now. More monsters, more craziness, more this. And it's like, no, make it a simple story. Like they make it, go back, do a simple story, a smaller story. That's what you should do. And I feel like all these IPs, these big IPs, do smaller movies with detailed stories and characters. That's what people want. They don't think that, though. They treat the audiences like idiots. That's what they do.
I like the cast.
Cast is good. But I'm just nervous. I'm nervous about it for sure. And then Field of Dreams is what a lot of people bringing up also. Okay, let's see. Next one here, and it's good to have Mike and Roxy back on the shows together for sure. It's good catching up. Bobo Baggins. I love this channel. Kristian and Roxy, I never miss an episode. I use a wheelchair, so movies are my escape. Seeing y'all's love for movies gives me so much joy. I feel like we'd be friends in real life. Well, that's very kind of you, man. And I'm very glad that we're able to give you some laughs and stuff too. And Roxy and I have been doing this for a long time together. I mean, hell, man, as Mike said, I've been friends with Mike now for 25 plus years, so it's pretty nuts.
That's crazy.
Pretty crazy.
Almost 30.
Yeah, I met you, what, 90?
No, 96.
Yeah,
I have
probably 96,
questions about
97.
that, but we don't have time
97.
on
It was
today's
97.
97?
That's when I met you, yeah.
Okay, so
So
25
whatever,
years.
25 years. And then Roka probably knew a little before you.
I knew Roka in 95, 96.
Which is funny because you and I, even though we ran in the same circles, we were also in the theater program too, which I don't know if I ever saw you there.
No, I don't. I never knew.
Which is hilarious. You weren't in the theater program?
I was.
You were, but we just never ran into each other.
All I remember is this.
That was the best, and I thought you didn't remember that. You do remember it? Oh, okay, because that was the best. Oregon, Luna Lovegood is I don't
What?
know. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Luna Lovegood.
Well, is it just a big inside joke that you're not going to explain? What
Oh,
it
this
is?
one?
It's two frat guys being frat guys. That's what that is.
Yeah, it was at, I'll just tell you it was at Mardi Gras. That's all I'll tell you.
Michael
Mr. I.
Oh, they were boobies, not balls. I understand.
Balls would be this. These are boobies.
You doing this for balls? What are you dealing with an elephant?
It's like balls, like
Mr. I crap and shits. I just wanted to say hi to Roxy and Mike. I hope you'll have a great week. Thank you so much. Not me.
Thank you so much. Hi back.
Very kind of you. All right, let's see. Next one, thank you, by the way, for everybody who's putting in these questions, and I'm glad that we had an opportunity to get everybody on the show again. This will be at least Tuesday and Wednesday, so you'll see Roxy every Tuesday, Mike's Tuesdays and Wednesdays, bouncing back and forth. Mike Joyce, is that a Mike? Is that a butt for behind you?
Oh yeah, is it?
Did you know that one?
Come on now.
Come on, I got somebody. Roxy got somebody on Instagram with that.
Jesus.
Who'd you get with that?
Man, that was my friend Justin Sarah.
That was good.
Listen, I've been trying to get Steph Sabra for. We have one famous World Girls episode. We have one World Girl episode where I melt down because I guess Streen and Steph had never heard it. We were trying to build dominoes. We had been there for 18 hours. Our backs were aching. We were doing this massive domino set, and I said, "Can you hand me the butt for?" And they just wouldn't say what's a butt for, and they'd never heard the joke, and they kept saying, "Nobody knows what you're talking about. Say it in different words." And I just started crying and melted down into a corner.
Oh, I have to watch that.
I was crying, saying, "Nobody's listening to me. Give me the butt for."
It's hilarious. Joey Pedras, do you think we're going to get any other shows in the Reeves Batman universe, or is this just the Penguin? Mike, what do you think about that?
No.
This is it?
This is it.
How come?
I think if Gunn was not redoing everything and making his own thing, we'd get a lot more.
Okay, because you think because this was
Arkham.
So you think this was part of the deal already, and they said just go with this one? But
yeah, I think that's why they canceled the Arkham. That's why there was going to be like a GCPD version. Like they had announced or were talking about 3 or 4 different ones, and the Penguin was the one they went with. I think we're going to get this. I think we'll get Batman 2. I think we'll get a second season of Penguin, and then we'll get the 3rd film, and that'll wrap it up.
Okay.
And then
so you think we're only getting 2 seasons of Penguin, period?
Yep, and then 2 more movies, and that's it.
Interesting.
So 3 movies for the Batman, 2 seasons for Penguin.
Yep, I think that's it.
Anthony Colston.
No Catwoman, anything.
No.
Anthony Colston, $1.99. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Derek coming in hot. I'll die on that hill with Mike. Only thing I'll say different is that a Joker movie, not a Batman movie.
It is. Yeah, you're not wrong, buddy. But when the movie's called The Dark Knight,
well, it's only you two.
It should be about the Dark Knight.
You guys are the only two in that army. You're the only two in that army. Patty Boy, what's Mike's take on Beetlejuice? Did you guys see it yet?
No,
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm so excited to see it. I can't believe I haven't seen it.
I'm surprised.
I will see it.
I'm super.
I like the first one, but I'm not like these people that love it and I can't wait. But I'm excited to see Tim Burton kind of return to form. So yeah.
Here we go. Ryan Nielsen. The Batmobile gets hit by an RPG, crashes, and then into a bat pot. And you have that at 3? They blew up a hospital, Mike. A hospital! I think my line read was pretty good there, Rox.
Really good. That sounded just like Ryan.
Yeah. What'd you think? So no response to that, Mike?
Yeah, there's a lot of it's a great movie. It is a great, I'd say it's one of the best, 100 best films of all time. It's just not a great Batman movie.
All right, fair enough. Nathan Stowe used to call my mom Madame Hash Heap from Fraggle Rock. Technically, I'm a trash person, Roxy. Well, not anymore. Roxy,
I love Fraggle Rock as a kid.
Roxy, you want me to give you an update
on Fraggle Rock?
No, on the questions.
Oh, on the questions, yeah.
43.
So we have 2 left to tie, 3 left to beat.
Yep. PLD project. Wait.
I mean, if we don't get there,
I don't know if PLD counts. Does PLD count? I guess he
He
does.
he could have sent a question for Roka.
I guess no, because it goes. This money goes back in his pocket anyway. I got to pay him. So,
Come on, that's this is a trash take.
That's fair. Yeah, of course it counts. Just because we can't let Roxy lose to Roka is what he wrote.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. Steph D'Agostini, aka the Marvel Man. This is for Roxy to reach or beat Roka's number. And I know that Mike's not even incorporated in this.
They don't care about me.
Because Mike is chill.
Do you know
and Mike wasn't like, you guys are all trash.
Do you know how competitive Mike
You guys are awful trash. You suck.
Mike and Roka together. I mean, the battles that those two had at the Schmoedown were legendary. So Simon Section, hey Roxy, chicken and beer.
Chicken and beer.
That's a old. That's clearly, but Mike's face shows he's never watched an episode of Collider Live, and I don't blame him. All right, so here's the.
Love that show.
Nope.
I watched some of those episodes.
Good for you.
They were amazing.
I didn't. Michael Merkel. Mike, I love listening to your thoughts on DC movies and news. What would your top 5 DC movies be of all time? Wow, look at that. Mike's top 5 DC movies of all time.
All right, I'll go off the top of my head.
Go ahead.
Dark Knight.
89 Batman. Batman Begins.
Is this in order?
No, just I'm throwing them out there. So 89 Batman, Batman Begins, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, I gotta give. So how many is that? 3?
That's 3, yeah. Suicide Squad.
Aquaman.
Okay. Aquaman in the top.
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Wonder Woman and then Aquaman.
In the top 5.
Yeah, I love that Aquaman. I think because I wasn't expecting anything, and I have such a fun time when I watch that movie. Such a fun time. But I could probably put Pattinson's Batman versus Aquaman in there.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't agree with any of that, but hey,
that was such a weird take, my dude.
He's been doing. Look, he's the king of it. You can't tell me that Mike.
I love what I love, man.
I'm going to say
love what I love.
This is why I love having you on the show.
Superman movies.
I do. I think Christopher Reeve to me is iconic, but I have not had a Superman film where I've gone, that's Superman to me. Like made me love the character. So I'm really hoping everything I've seen so far with Superman, with Corn Sweat, Rachel Brosnahan, like the casting of Jimmy Olsen, like I'm like, this movie could be the one that makes me go, this is Superman.
And no TDK trilogy?
No, he doesn't put that.
Batman Begins.
That's it.
Oh, you said Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to follow this up, Mike. So Ronnie B. Good, DCU Batman and Wonder Woman dream casting. You got anybody in there?
There's been 2 people. I don't know these actors. I'll put the picture and I'll throw it up to you, and you can put it in a comment with someone. There's 2 actors. I don't know who they are for Bruce Wayne that are perfect to me. That these people keep showing, like they're television. I think maybe they might be television actors, but they're like they're early 40s, but they seem great. Wonder Woman.
It's gotta be unknown.
Let me tell you this. I'm like with Gal Gadot. Like I want an unknown. I want. To me, and I'll say this is a hill I'll die on. I don't think you need a big name for Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Get a working actor that's but has their chops, and make that. Look at Hugh Jackman.
Gal Gadot was not super well known.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And now she's iconic. But look at Hugh Jackman.
I'm with you.
No one knew who he was. He is now
same page. Like
so. Yeah. And the studios, I know they think they got to sell it, and they do their algorithms, and this doesn't track with this. Like. Just get an actor that looks the part, is a good actor, and the character will be enough, and they'll make it their own.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you to Haunted Autumn for that super chat. And then PLD coming back in. Any interest in Riff Raff? Ed Harris and Bill Murray as crime brothers. Lewis Pullman, Pete Davidson, Jennifer Coolidge, Gabriel Union. Looks fun. Is that a TV show, Rox?
I don't know, but if it's Jennifer Coolidge, then I'm definitely going to be watching it. Riff Raff, huh?
Yeah, check that out.
I wonder where it's going to air.
Well,
no, it's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie.
That's why I don't know it.
There you go. Well, and then
I guess it just premiered at TIFF, which is
that's why. Okay, thank you, Peel. The Nerds Engage puts in a super chat there, and then Nick Alexander clarification: Aaron versus Roxy scaring Tara. I guess that was the scare thing. Is that what that is?
I understand. I didn't see a video they put out, but obviously it's my thing.
Oh, I saw it. They were watching like were they not Beetlejuice? They were watching something together. Oh, it was Predator.
So long story short, my number one thing that I do is I say purge to Tara, and I put a pillow in her face. The point where they bought me a pillow, and she freaks out. It's like a thing that we do because we watch the Purge franchise, and she's easily scarable. But Aaron was like, I scared her first, so I'm the scare person. Whatever.
All right. That's fair. Mike Joyce, what does Roxy think of the Patriots this season? You could knock me out of my freaking pool. I hate them even more than I did before.
I mean, obviously, I don't feel good about the Patriots this season. However, I was shocked on Sunday.
Yeah, me too.
I was shocked on Sunday. So I don't know what to make of that. But no, I think that it's going to be several years before I can really talk about the Patriots.
Okay. Next one here. Roman Fedorak. Agree with Mike, and The Batman Begins is my favorite of the trilogy. Ellis feels the same way about that. There's a lot of people that think The Batman Begins is a first.
A lot of people think that.
100%. So,
it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to make sure that I have everything here. To agree with Mike, I think we hit it all. And I think we hit all of them. And Roxy, we're at 49.
You did it.
You did it. 49. Roxy.
I'd like
you gonna cry?
I'd like to thank all the trash people out there
for calling them trash. I mean, now, yeah, but you know this isn't going to end. You know, Roka's probably going to show these people's houses.
Roka's going to go through every person to see if they did it twice, what time.
And then Steph's on tomorrow. And then we got
Steph, the D1 athlete who randomly is not very competitive with things like this, but is very competitive in life.
And it's true. But and then we got Coy and Winston on Friday, which will be a good show. I'm excited. You, Roxy, excited to be live with me again?
Yeah, I really am. I love live. I love the energy of live.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll see which one of us gets canceled first.
Mike, probably be you. So where can I find you?
At Mike Kalinowski.
Roxy Stryer, how about yourself?
Everywhere at Roxy Stryer. Be on the lookout for Crust, the movie, coming to a theater near you. And maybe you can go to the premiere tonight if you reach out.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us here today on the show. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you for being here, and for everybody, jokes aside here with the contest and everything too. Thank you for supporting the show, supporting the channel, being so encouraging when it comes to doing these things live that we're doing, and being excited for it, because I'm excited to be able to experience this again with Roxy, with Mike, and to reteam everybody up and to do new things, create new moments. We're going to be doing some more interviews and all that. As I mentioned, I have my out of the theater reaction for Transformers 1 coming out tonight. I'll probably have a non-spoiler of what the hell is this? Speak No Evil. So that one will be coming out pretty soon. I have my movie reactions that I've been doing. The first one up with Borderlands with Matt Serra is up right now. I did Trap with my wife. That comes out on Friday. So check that out. So for myself, Mike, and Roxy, it is the Kristian Harloff Show. Thank you for being here. See you later.